YouTube, what's going on, y'all? It's Pick Saber here, and welcome to another video. Really quickly, before I get into today's video topic, I want to remind you, if you're new here, go check out my introductory video where I go into detail about what type of content to expect on the channel. So the Baylor Bears are entering their 7th year under head coach Dave Aranda. And following a disappointing 5-7 finish in 2025, the program has undergone a massive roster overhaul, leaving the team with significant transition hurdles. The primary concern is the transition on the offensive side of the ball. Baylor is forced to introduce a mostly revamped offensive line, which is a major red flag when trying to establish consistency on offense. Caden Saraki is the only returning offensive lineman from last year's team. The blocking unit suffered several hits as starters sought opportunities elsewhere, most notably center Colton Price, who transferred to Kentucky, and right tackle Sean Tompkins, who headed to LSU. To fill these vacancies, Baylor leaned heavily into the transfer portal, bringing in several players who are expected to compete for starting roles. Yakiri Walker, a Memphis transfer, is slated to anchor the middle of the offensive line. Asher Hill, a South Alabama transfer, and Nate Kibble, a Texas transfer, are expected to be key components. Hill brings significant experience from South Alabama, while Kibble is a highly touted prospect looking for his first real opportunity to contribute after being a backup at Texas. Cole Rett, a Toledo transfer, has been brought in to shore up the tackle position. Even if the individual talent along the offensive line is higher than it was in 2025, the cohesiveness of the unit relies heavily on communication and timing. With 4 or 5 starters being newcomers, the offensive line is likely to be vulnerable to stunts, blitzes, and communication errors early in the year. Relying heavily on a group of blockers who have not played significant snaps together creates high volatility and the potential for slow starts. Baylor also dismissed their offensive line coach Mason Miller midway through the 2025 season and hired Austin Woods to lead the room. This is a critical transition as Woods is tasked with installing a new philosophy that aligns better with offensive coordinator Jake Spavital's system. Baylor did make some waves by landing highly touted Florida transfer quarterback DJ Lagway, but the infrastructure around him is unproven. And although some may be excited about the acquisition of DJ Lagway, I believe the most likely scenario is that we see some flashes of greatness here and there from Lagway, followed by lots of inconsistency, which is exactly what we've seen him do at Florida. Also, keep in mind that Baylor's quarterback play from Sawyer Robertson was really a lone bright spot in an otherwise frustrating 2025, so bringing in DJ Lagway doesn't really move the needle for me. Not to mention, Baylor's passing game also lost its most reliable production to graduation, including key targets like Michael Trigg, Joshua Cameron, Cole Wilson, and Ashton Hawkins. 2026 is a pivotal year for Dave Aranda and could be a career-defining moment. The pressure to improve upon a disappointing 5-win season after the new Baylor athletic director has given him a year to prove his worth as Baylor's head football coach could be too much to overcome. Aranda's calling card has always been defense, and in an effort to fix Baylor's lingering defensive issues, Aranda took over defensive play calling duties during the 2024 season. However, the unit completely collapsed in 2025. Baylor's defense allowed 392.2 yards per game and a brutal 32.6 points per game. The inability to stop the run or get off the field consistently forced Aranda into an offseason coordinator change, bringing in Joe Klanderman from Kansas State to run the defense, while Aranda once again steps back from calling plays. The issue is Kansas State's defense struggled as well last year under Klanderman, allowing 26.7 points per game, 389.1 yards per game, and 169.4 rushing yards per game as they finished 128th in the country in time of possession. Even if Baylor manages to start relatively strong in September against lesser opponents, their late season schedule offers almost no room for error. The closing stretch is a gauntlet, not to mention they open with a tough neutral site game in Atlanta against a talented Auburn team. My power ratings make Baylor a clear favorite in only 4 games total this season, along with a few toss-up games against TCU, Kansas, and UCF. I'm not sure that relying on transfer portal additions or making a sudden panic hire to immediately fix fundamental schematic issues on defense is going to save Dave Aranda's job or Baylor's season. I do think Baylor could possibly flirt with bowl eligibility as my projections have Baylor at 5.89 wins. 5-7 or 6-6 is a very probable outcome for this Baylor team, which is why I played the under 6.5 wins at minus 130. So if you enjoyed today's video, show some love by clicking the like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more videos as I continue to prep for the upcoming regular season. But until then, I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Pick Saban, clocking out.